My next stop is an old Chinese hill, which is about 20 minutes walk away, and it's quite a historic place. I don't think it gets many people going up there, but it does apparently offer great views over the city. A quick 7-Eleven stop to buy myself what 7-Eleven themselves describe as the coolest drink in the world. I've gone for a mix. I've got grape at the bottom and tutti frutti on top. 40 pence, absolutely wonderful. Right, so here we are then in Bukit China, or Chinese Hill. Now, according to Malaysian history, in the 15th century, the Chinese dynasty wanted to have stronger relationship with Malaysia. Princess Hang Li Po from China was sent to Malaysia to marry the Sultanate. The princess and her entourage were given this hill to settle. It's said to be one of the oldest Chinese settlements in Malaysia. Wow, we have like a little miniature version of the Red Square, I think this is. It is. This is the Stad House, the clock and the fountain. Now, these are much more recent. This one born 1930 and died in 2018. But there's some much older gravestones over here. 12,500 people buried in this huge graveyard, basically. It's the biggest Chinese graveyard outside of China. What an incredible place. No one comes here. It's like literally got one review on Google Maps. There are also 25 Muslim tombs on this land, and the oldest grave dates to 1622, but a lot of the graves were exhumed by the British when they came into rule, and the British wanted to develop this area completely and destroy the graveyard entirely, but they faced stiff opposition and never managed to do so. I wasn't expecting the whole area to be filled with graves. It's incredible timing, because as you're getting high up in the city, you can hear the call to prayer from all the various mosques. It's quite a sound. There is something on Google Maps which points kind of to here and says this is the cemetery, but to be honest, there are graves absolutely everywhere. I think there's a higher concentration of graves around here, which is probably why Google Maps has got this marked down as the actual cemetery. But yeah, they just go on and on forever. I wasn't expecting this. I just thought it was a hill with a viewpoint. I didn't realise it was a huge cemetery with, what did I say it was, 125,000 graves or something? Now these are old. These have been here for centuries. As I was entering, I passed a German couple who'd come in from a different entrance, and they said, oh, you must go and see the temple. And I don't know what that is, if it's a ruined temple or, but apparently there's a temple where they came in, and they did say it was to the right, so I'm going to head in that direction. I seem to have come off a path now, but there's something interesting over there. This one looks fairly recent. I always find it interesting when you find places like this, because this could quite easily be like maintained and an attraction where people pay to come and see the biggest Chinese graveyard outside China, you know, but it's just obviously had no investment of that type, and so it's just left. And I think this is going to take me off in the direction that the German couple told me to go in, so let's go and see what this temple is all about. Just look how many graves there are. I did not know it was going to be like this. This one's still got a bit of colour on it. 1970 there's a date on that one. I'm presuming that's when the person died. Down here is something called Sultan's Well, and I have a feeling this might be where the German couple came up, so I think the temple might be at the bottom here. It's probably just another temple, to be honest. They're probably on holiday and they're in the stage where they're still getting excited by every single temple that they see. Once you're a hardened traveller of Southeast Asia like I am, it's just another temple. Okay, so back in Malacca then. There's another cemetery here, and this is a bloody interesting building. I don't know what that is. It's a nice shot, that, with the skyscrapers behind. Is this a temple that they were telling me I must go and look at? See, this is the official entrance, look, steps leading to Bukit China. The temple wasn't really anything special, it was quite nice, very old. And there's a couple of things around here which are pretty interesting. Just around here there's the cenotaph in honour of the fallen resistance fighters against the Japanese occupation of Malacca between 1942 and 1945. Ah. Right, just the one more thing left to see, and that's the Hanglipo Well, which is just at the other side of this wall. The well was built by the Sultan exclusively for his Chinese wife, and they used it for their daily needs, and they even opened it up to the community. The well never dried out, even during the most severe droughts. It was poisoned many times, first by the Dutch and the Portuguese, to poison their enemies who might come and drink from it. And then when the Dutch realised how important this well was, they built this fort around it and even had cannons to protect it. But when the British came, it lost its importance and it dried out. Enjoyed a lovely beer at the Idler Spot, which is the first bar you come to on this little strip, and it's the cheapest one. They sell big beers, big anchors for 19, which is less than £4, so that's pretty good. So now I'm going to go for the river boat. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to have some more beers and maybe even squeeze some food in at some point. It's about 7:15 and I wanted to do this boat ride. It takes about 40 minutes and I wanted to do it just as it starts getting dark, because it's all lit up from what I remember. I did it in the dark last time, so hopefully the journey up will be like this, and then the journey back down will be when it's gone dark. So we'll see. I've no idea how busy it is. There are 4 boats in at the minute. I don't want to get sat in the middle, I want to get sat at the side, so we'll see how we get on. Well, I got the seat at the side, so I'm happy about that. So basically, I'm going to film up the right hand side. This is the side where the State House is and the red square, and then yeah, then we come back down the other side. So perfect. Here we go then. 40-minute boat ride up the Malacca River. Here we are, passing the red square, the Dutch square, and just on our right hand side now we're going to come to see the famous street art. We'll see lots of pieces of street art on this trip. Really wish I could stay here longer, to be honest.
Di sebelah kiri terdapat bangunan yang penuh dengan lukisan-lukisan yuk.
This is why I didn't walk up here yesterday, because I didn't want to see everything, and there's just tons of street art and all the buildings. It's absolutely beautiful.
Sungai ini juga terletaknya rumah kerajaan kelas tu adalah satu.
On the left, you will see a house.
Here we have the contrast of the old Malay houses with the big hotels in the background. Is it a hotel or is it residential? I think I timed it perfectly because the light is fantastic now. Last time I did that, it was my last day in Malacca. I literally almost didn't do it and I was so glad I did. And I've come back and done it. It costs 30 ringgit, so it's about £6 for a 40-minute journey. But I'll tell you what, absolutely beautiful. And I did time it perfectly. It was light on the way up, it was dark on the way back down. Well, that's me done in Malacca then. Quite sad to be leaving this beautiful city. Could have easily spent a couple more days here. I'm waiting for a public bus now. There's no one else here, which is not a good sign. So I'm hoping this thing's going to turn up. And that should take me 20 minutes or so to get to the main bus station, where I'm going to grab some food. I've got plenty of time. Grab a coffee and then get the bus back to KL. Kuala Lumpur.